Hey y'all, it's Mika, and I am back with another review of Welcome to Derry, like one of my favorite shows now. This is actually my review of episode 4. I have to say, once again, I was really happy with the episode. The pacing of these episodes, they're doing a really good job with pacing it. It's not boring. There was another moment where my mouth was just wide open, like in shock because every episode offers that, and I love the consistency of the show so far. This episode actually starts out with Lily's friend, kind of focusing a little bit more on Lily's friend. They're at school, and Marge is kind of trying to be a part of the in crowd, and in order to do that and to succeed at that, the girls that she's trying to hang out with want her to kinda set Lily up because right now Lily is kinda known around town and around school as kind of a little nutty, a little crazy because of these hallucinations and things she's been having and the fact that she has been to the psych ward or admitted there at least twice that we've seen. So, yeah, so Marge is using this as a way to get in with the in crowd. And so they're at lunch, and at one point, I guess they used to be best friends. And so she sits down with Lily at lunch, and she's just like, "Hey, I miss our friendship and whatnot." And they start talking, and Lily gets really excited and hopeful, and she's like, "Yeah, of course, I want to be friends again, right?" So meanwhile, this boy walks over to the table, and he's like eyeing Lily, and he's a popular kid, I guess. And so basically, this whole scenario is a setup. The boy coming to the table, Marge talking to her, all that is a setup for poor Lily. But it ends up backfiring on Marge because earlier in the day they were in science class and they were looking at some something about some worms, some different type of worms. They were looking at it on film, and something happens to Marge in this episode involving those worms, and it is gruesome. And long story short, Lily pretty much gets blamed for it somehow. So yeah, check that out. I really want to know in the comments what y'all thought of this scene because it was crazy. So the other thing that they showed in this was Hanlon, Major Hanlon, and his son Will, who is friends with Ronnie and Lily. And Will is aware now, the kid Will, he's aware now that there is something weird going on in this town. His dad hasn't really, said much about it, but you can tell he's kind of like suspicious, like something is off here. And so they go on a little fishing trip. They do like a little father son getaway. And of course, it just couldn't be pleasant. It couldn't be pleasant because this is Derry and it is around and he is about that action. Okay. So Will is out there in the lake. The dad says he has to go back to the truck, and Will is left at the lake by himself, while the dad goes looking for something at the truck. I think something on the fishing rod broke or whatever. So Will's out there, and you know what's about to happen. Something is about to happen. So, long story short, um, Will's dad runs up back to him with Will basically drowning in the water. And Will comes up out of this water, and the dad is like frantic, like, "What happened? What's wrong?" And he's just like, "It was you." He's looking at his dad and he's telling him, "It was you. You attacked me, right? Like, it was you or whatever." And the dad is like, "What in the world?" And he's looking at him like, "Okay, this is a little much." But then he looks at Will's arms and he has all these scratches, and it's just he doesn't know what to do at that point. He's just like, "Yeah, this is crazy. Something weird is going on." And in the distance, they turn around and they see the infamous red balloon just kind of floating in the middle of the woods over a lake randomly. So yeah, very strange. Um, there's also a scene where Rose, if y'all remember, Rose was one of the little girls that was raised in the town. She's one of the native people, and she's raising her nephew. I don't think they went into why she's raising her nephew, but now her nephew's grown, okay? And somehow he ends up at the police station. I don't know if I like checked out for a minute, but all I know is this boy is at the police station. He's a young man and he's being questioned. And they bring in Halloran, the psychic dude, to basically try to get in this boy's head so that to find out what him, his aunt, and all the other native people are hiding in these woods, right? And so again, they're looking for this machine, they call it, or whatever the army is. And so Halloran uses his powers, he gets into his head. I think the boy's name is Tennille. And that's where we find out the origins of it inside this boy head. And I mean, I'm not like a it expert or anything. I'm pretty new to it and whatnot. And so I've heard my understanding that he's an alien. So what ends up happening is they show him crash into native land and the natives take the crash the 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 debris and they carve like a dagger out of it. And the reason why they do that is because they also show um its powers. They kind of get a little bit more and do a deeper dive into like how it operates. How does he scare people? And his thing is he taps into like your biggest fears. And so if you're scared of spiders, he's gonna be a big ass spider. If you scared of, snakes, he's gonna, you know, put a bunch of snakes in your bed while you sleep or something like that. So yeah, so they talk about that in this one. So it was interesting to kind of get that backstory. Um, yeah, this episode was really good. Again, I'm trying not to spoil it too much. I feel like I did tell y'all a lot, but yeah, I'm curious to know what's so special about Hanlon. Like, why did he come there? They also show a scene like with his wife. She was a civil rights activist where they came from. And to go back to Ronnie, whose father is in jail, you know, he's a African American male, and, Will's mother, like I said, she's an activist, and so she goes up to the jail like, "Y'all need to let me talk to him or I'm about to call, like, MLK and everybody else down here, and we'll be marching all in the middle of the street, and y'all don't want that." So, she went in to talk to Ronnie's dad, and the reason why part of the reason why Ronnie's dad is in jail is because he refuses to tell the police where he was the night that those kids end up being unalived. And it turns out he was with a woman, not only a woman, but a woman of the opposite race, which was frowned upon at that time. And so they're kind of in a sticky situation. But I do like there's a lot of balance in this show. I like that they do touch on the racial tensions of the time, but they do it in a way that is, comfortable and, not off-putting for some or whatever, however you wanna say it, but, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Anyway, so, yeah, so, again, I enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to the next round of episodes. I believe Imma have to wait. If not, great, I'll be back on here next week to talk about episode 5, but I really enjoyed this show. I hope y'all do too, and, yeah, I'll talk to y'all next time.